US President Donald Trump has revealed that Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada will be traveling to the White House in less than a week, and the two sides will then negotiate a new economic and security agreement. The revelation comes after it was clear that Mark Carney would become the Prime Minister again, getting a full term after the election. The two sides also spoke to each other on Tuesday, and details of that were given out by President Trump when he spoke to reporters in the Oval Office. He seemed to indicate that the conversation between the two leaders was cordial and that Mark Carney told Donald Trump, "Let's make a deal." Now, this comes in the backdrop of the heavy tariffs that have already been imposed by the US administration against Canada and the annexation threats against Canada as well. It's not clear whether Donald Trump raised the issue of Canada being the 51st state of the United States, but we do know that in the previous conversation on the 28th of March, Donald Trump did raise this issue, to which Mark Carney had said that this never was and never will be on the table, and that the two sides, if they negotiate any agreement on the economic or security front, will be as two sovereign nations. This is a statement that has been repeated by Mark Carney even in his victory speech, though he did warn the voters and the people of Canada that the next few years could be difficult in view of the pressure that is coming in from the United States. Meanwhile, as far as the economic coercion goes, the tariffs continue to remain on Canada. 25% tariffs on the non-CUSMA compliant goods that are exported from Canada to the US, 10% tariff on energy products, 25% tariff on aluminum and steel products, and 25% tariffs on auto and auto parts. However, we are constantly seeing a flip-flop carve-outs in the auto sector specifically, which has been hit in the US because of these tariffs. Meanwhile, Canada has already raised disputes in the World Trade Organization on the tariffs on the auto sector as well as aluminum and steel. The victory that Mark Carney, an economist and a banker, has got in Canada is primarily on the perception that he is the best man to be able to negotiate well with Donald Trump. And it appears now that day is very close when the two leaders, that is Donald Trump and Mark Carney, will be sitting face to face to do exactly that. Meanwhile, in view of the allegations by US President Donald Trump with regards to the northern border with Canada, that it was not secure and that there was a movement of illegal migrants as well as fentanyl from this border, former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had announced a $1.3 billion package for better and more surveillance of the border, as well as it being more manned by military personnel. That package, though, was announced last year, even before President Trump took office. However, this was reiterated in a conversation between former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and US President Donald Trump earlier this year, and therefore it appeared that the US might go soft on Canada. However, that was not to be, and a slew of tariffs were targeted towards Canada, and the annexation threats continued to come. Though there has been a change of tone from US President Donald Trump since Mark Carney took over, he hasn't been referring to Mark Carney as the governor of Canada, but has still been making the suggestion of Canada being the 51st state of the United States, something that has irked the Canadians and has pushed them into choosing Mark Carney as the Prime Minister, giving the Liberals a fourth term despite their domestic issues that were overarching for more than a year of a housing crisis, of inflation, making it appear that the Conservatives would win the elections. That was not to be, and largely because of the threat from Donald Trump.